What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be doing a video on this Yerf Dog build I did for my buddy, and I'm going to do a little bit of in-depth explanation on all the things about it, and yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so my buddy got it from his neighbor. He paid $200 for it, and it came with a Tecumseh 6.5 horse power sport motor. That's actually an overhead valve motor. This is her right here. It needs an air filter. It's a rather weird engine. Look at how small the valve cover is. So yeah, that's what came out in it. And when my buddy bought it, the torque converter was shot on it, so he had to buy a new torque converter, and he also bought a brand new Tillotson 212 to go along with it. So that's the Tilly right there. She's kind of dirty already, but she is a brand new motor. Alright, so let's get a little rundown on it. So it's a Yerf Dog Go kart. It's got front suspension, control arm suspension with shocks and springs on it in the front. The tires are bald in the front. When he got it, the front end was loose on it, so I tightened up the front end on it. The lock nuts on the wheels were loose, so I tightened them up. The joints and tie rods are pretty wore, so it's something in there's got quite a bit of slop, but it does go down the road straight, so I'm going to eventually fix that for him. So yeah, it's got control arm, front suspensions, two-seater go-kart, roll cage. It's got a live axle on it. I believe they're 18.5-inch tires in the rear, and I believe these are, well, they say 140 by 70 to 6, so it must be some different random size. So this Tillotson 212 is a 10 horsepower engine stock, and it's a stage 1 motor now. I put a header pipe on it, rejetted the carb, emulsion tube, and the main jet, did the OMB air filter kit, and put a fuel filter and fuel shutoff on it for him as well. And he got himself a new torque converter. It says Comet on it, the clutch driver. It's a real Comet, but the backing plate itself and everything else is a Colin, and I'll show you what happened to the original clutch on it. Alright, we're going to come over here and we're going to get it out of the box. Okay, so here's the clutch on the motor. This is a brand new one. It's not a real Comet, it's a clone one. And this is what happened. Okay, how this thing works is that these springs have a certain strength to them, and the weights weigh a certain amount. And that's going to determine its engagement RPM. So let's just say this one is 2200. So when at 2200 RPMs, these weights are going to fly out and expand, and they're going to grab onto the outside of this drum here. I mean the inside. And when it does that, it slides on these pins right here. One of these pins is jammed and it's not sliding right, and it won't allow the clutch to return. So constantly it's engaged, and when you try to start it, the go-kart moves by pulling on the cord. It won't disengage, and it won't allow you to stop either. So that's the story on this, and you can see by looking at it, it's way down in there, and it's not fully sunk in there like it should be. Sorry for the dark lighting, but this Comet clutch driver right here is actually what came on that Tecumseh motor. It was pretty rusty on the other side, but I used a 80 grit flap disc and got rid of all the rust, and it's working great. It doesn't hang up, and it unlocks great. So I got a little off topic there talking about the go-kart. I was talking about the go-kart, but then I just started going off on what happened to it, which is kind of related to it. But yeah. So anyway, this Tillotson is also electric start. It's a Hemi head, and 10 horsepower stock, but the way it is currently, it makes 11.5 horsepower, and it's 212 cc's, which is pretty damn good for a motor this size. You can't see the sprocket down there, but it's either 40 or 420 chain, and it's got a band brake kit. So anyways, this is actually a pretty badass go-kart. It'll go through anything. I did some serious off-roading with it with my buddy in the gravel pits. It will knock over trees, it'll go over logs, it'll go through mud, it'll go through water. This thing is a serious off-roader. So yeah, for the most part, it doesn't really have that much mods to it. It's got a little wear and tear on it. It's got a little bit of slop in the steering. Brakes don't work the best, but overall, you can't beat buying this roller chassis for $200 with the motor on it and good parts on it. So this is going to be a little short video, so if you like it, please comment, like, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.